Hey everybody, I'm Adam and welcome to Visiting Creatures. I'm getting ready to put my yak in the water and go do some stealth camping tonight on an island on the Braden River here in Bradenton, Florida. So let's get to it. I didn't load my stuff up properly. 3/4 of the way to my campsite. Had to stop, get out of the wind for a little bit. Been paddling upwind the entire time. So I don't know if y'all can see how windy it is. Look at the pine trees. Well, time for a little break. Just got to camp. It does not look like anyone has been here. Going to set my hammock up from this tree to this one right here. Have some branches to cut out of the way first. Go get my camping gear. It's only supposed to get down to about 60. I think it's gonna rain tonight. Have to check the weather. It's going to be a windy night. Still haven't checked the weather. See what it's going to be like. Might as well do that right now. 82, mostly cloudy, with a 40% chance. Oh, it's going to rain. 70% chance of rain at 10 o'clock. And it's supposed to rain until 1 a.m. I guess. Looks like I will be paddling back in the rain. Oh well. I am getting ready to make lunch. It's a meal that I made, that I dehydrated. It's barbecue beef stew. It's got barbecue mashed potatoes, dehydrated corn, dehydrated green beans, and dehydrated hamburger meat. I gotta let it soak for a while. It takes forever for it to rehydrate. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I had a bunch of camera attachments break. I bought cheap camera attachments. I've learned my lesson. You pay for what you get. I haven't bought any more. Right now I just don't have any money to do so. I have written on here 1 1/4 cup of water. Actually brought a measuring cup this time. I tried one of these dehydrated meals one time, and I definitely did not let it rehydrate long enough. Either that or corn just does not rehydrate well, but it tastes good. One cup. That's what it looks like. Let that set, and I'm going to hang my hammock up. Oops. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. So you kind of want to make your straps equal on both ends. But I never let my hammock touch the ground. Some people do. It just keeps your gear cleaner if you can avoid doing that. And in return, it'll probably last longer. I have some palmetto roots that I need to cut out of the way. Or break out of the way. Since it's going to rain, I'm going to need a drip line. I always tie this in a knot right here for safety anyways, just for peace of mind, but it also works as a drip line. So when it's raining and the water comes down this, it hits a knot and then it goes down. So all you do is this. And then the same thing on the other side. I need to put up my tarp, but I had these packed first. This is my hammock gear Econ 40 degree underquilt. I have it overstuffed a couple ounces of duck down, and it will get me down to about, I'd say about 37 degrees comfortably. And this is my hammock gear Econ Burrow 40, and I have it overstuffed again, and this will also get me down to about 37 degrees. I probably won't, like I said, I probably won't be using my underquilt tonight, but I'm still going to open it up. It's better to keep these uncompressed. You actually store them uncompressed. So I'm just going to open them up and throw them in the hammock, and then I'm going to put the tarp up. I have my tarp in what's called a snake skin. Some companies call it a mesh sleeve. Just makes for quick deployment. I recommend one. See if I can get it in the video. I have the hammock and my tarp all set up. Getting cloudy, getting dark over there. Need to get my lunch cooking. So I was going to build a fire, but the ground is just covered in pine needles, as you can see. And I couldn't find any rocks to build a fire ring with. So I guess I'll have to bring some out here one day. I just don't feel comfortable building a fire with all these pine needles and nothing around it to protect it, which sucks because I love having a campfire. Never go camping without building a fire. This will be my first time. I'm getting ready just to cook my lunch. It's been cold soaking for about an hour now. So I'm going to put my twig stove together. I just lit my twig stove, getting ready to cook my dehydrated meal. Hope I didn't mess it up. I poured a little bit more water in there. We'll find out, I guess. Maybe it can boil off. And here's my fire for the night, I guess. Lunch is finally ready. Here's what it looks like. See how it tastes. It's really good. Corn rehydrated very well. Still a little chewy, sticks to your teeth a little bit, but it tastes fantastic. I made about, I think I made 5 of these. Pretty cheap. I have a cookbook that I bought on how to dehydrate meals, and so far this is just fantastic. Like always, I'm not going to make you watch me eat. So, see you later. So I've decided to make a fire ring. Still not sure if I'm going to have a fire though. Just went and checked on the boat, probably for the last time tonight. Not that it's going to go anywhere. So I decided that little fire ring that I built, I'm just going to put my twig stove in there, down in the hole, and I'll feed that. It's not a big fire, but at least it's something. It just seems weird to me not to have a fire every single night when you're camping. And maybe since I dug the hole a little bit, the ground's pretty moist, I won't have a problem with it catching on fire. I always pour water on the fire before I go to bed. I gotta have a fire. Well, here's camp. Have my gear hanger up. I normally don't put my hammock that close to the ground, but with the chances of the rain coming tonight, it's just better to be lower to the ground and have your tarp spread out a little bit wider. It makes it hard to get into, obviously. So eventually I'm going to make a path in here, and this pine tree and this pine tree will be where I'm going to hang my hammock, in between the two. I invited a couple friends. One couldn't make it. The other one was a little worried about the weather. I don't blame them. It can just make for a miserable time. Other than that, I'm just sitting out here relaxing. Ate my lunch. It was fantastic. Maybe I'll make a video on how to make this barbecue beef stew. Ready to cut up. Ouch. Thorn. So, I'm getting ready to cut out some firewood for another time that I come out here and can actually build a fire ring. I never have a saw. This is actually one of my buddies. He let me borrow it when I went down the Swanee River, and I haven't returned it yet. I think it's just a cheap Harbor Freight saw. Man, it works good. It's actually got me kind of thinking maybe I want to get a saw. Since I am not comfortable with building a fire tonight, I'm not going to make my steak dinner. I was going to make steak, baked beans, and a baked potato, but that's not going to happen. So I brought backup just in case, and tonight I'm going to have a mountain house meal. I haven't had this one. It's beef stroganoff, so we'll see how that goes. Might make my wood pile a little bit bigger. I don't know. We'll see. I am going to make my wood pile bigger for the next time I come out. I got some more firewood for next time. Added a little bit more to my fire pile tonight. I checked the weather and it went from 70% chance of rain down to 30. So I guess it'd be nice if it didn't rain, although I am set up for it. So it's always fun to go camping, of course, with a buddy or a group of your buddies, but solo camping, I have just as good time being out here by myself, visiting the creatures. But if you haven't tried it, there's really nothing to be scared about. You know, you come out here with all your friends. Yeah, I guess you'll be making a little bit more noise and stuff, but might scare off some animals. But I haven't had any issues. My first time solo camping, I'll admit I was a little nervous to be out there by myself. But as I built the fire, and I was sitting around the fire, listening to nothing, I didn't even think about being alone. Made it through the night just fine, and I've been out a few times by myself since then. I'd say this is probably the 7th time that I've gone camping by myself. I'd like to do it a lot more. This is my 4th year kayak camping. I bought this GoPro 3 years ago with all intentions of making videos and everything, and I have no reason why I didn't make any. I never used this thing. My first kayak that I bought was a Wilderness Systems Tarpon 120. I did a lot of research, and it's probably the most popular kayak in the United States. It's a nice kayak, but I was looking for a little more capacity and the ability to be able to stand up. So I ended up getting a 2016 Jackson Kayak Coosa HD. Love that kayak. It's great, stable, plenty of room to pack all your camping gear. The quality is excellent on it, and they have excellent customer service. But I still wanted something a little bit different, and I realized that I stopped packing as much as I could. I was bringing 3 times the amount of camping gear than when I originally started. But I ended up selling that to a buddy of mine, and I got the Bonafide SS127. This thing is amazing. Night and day difference in the stability of the kayak from the Jackson Coosa that I had. Also bought the kayaks with the intent to go fishing all the time. I don't eat fish. I like shellfish. But I had a buddy that I used to go fishing with all the time. And then, you know, life takes over and he wasn't able to go fishing as much, and now he doesn't go at all really anymore. In fact, I borrow his kayak, which is my first Wilderness Systems kayak, and let my friends use it. My Bonafide actually has more capacity weight wise than my Coosa HD did. I actually think I could get a little bit more in the Coosa, but like I said, I don't carry as much as I used to, so that hasn't really become a big deal. The next kayak I want to get is a Delta 14. It's a Canadian company. It's a touring kayak. Weighs about 43 pounds. It's really strong, and it's made from a type of plastic technique. I think they call it like thermo. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. But it weighs about the same, if not less, than a lot of the composite materials that are coming out on the kayaks, and it's cheaper. Still a $2,000 kayak, but my plan is to get one of those and go on longer adventures. There really isn't any islands around here without driving 50 miles. What am I saying? I'm on an island right now, but I guess, for example, the reason I want a touring kayak now is there's about a 5-mile stretch from the boat ramp that I use on this river to State Road 70, and there's tons of little islands all down the river that I could camp at. And my Bonafide just weighs so much, and it's really not that fast. It's made for fishing. Stability, it's comfortable, but it's heavy. I could do it. There's no doubt that I couldn't do it. It was so windy on the way out here that I almost just turned around. I'm glad I didn't. I just pushed through. Knew I'd get here eventually. I think in my last video, as I was leaving this place, I was telling you guys that I was going to go on a 6-day, 5-night trip down the Swanee River, and I did. I had some camera equipment break within like 2 hours of being on the water. And then I forgot one of my attachments, so I wasn't able to use any of my other camera attachments that I had. I learned a lesson not to buy cheap camera attachments. I am, however, going to buy a new tripod. That's the piece that broke. I was just really getting to like this thing. You could bend the legs. I was able to put it in trees, get some good shots. I want to get a couple more cameras, at least one more. So far I'm really leaning towards the GoPro Hero 7. Still doing research. I don't have the money right now to buy one. But my plan is to get another camera. Possibly someday get a drone also. There's a bunch of places in Palmetto that I'd like to camp at, that if you look on Google Earth, you can see like good potential campsites. But when you get out there, it's just so overgrown that I can't get to these areas and tell if it's a good spot or not. And a drone would really make that a lot easier for me to tell. It's about 3 o'clock. Sun's gonna set in about 2.5 hours. I decided to build my little twig fire. So that's what I'm... If y'all don't have a headlamp, this is a game changer. One of my buddies bought this for me for Christmas. Maybe my birthday, I can't remember. But I've had it for 2 years now, and after the first time I took this headlamp, I stopped carrying a flashlight altogether. I actually stopped carrying a lot of lights. I used to bring a lantern with me. I don't do that anymore. I have been thinking about getting, I think they're called a Lucy light, but we'll see. But get yourself a headlamp. They're fantastic. Just realized that I got off subject when I was trying to tell you guys about my Swanee River trip. So like I said, right away within 2 hours I had some camera equipment break. I wasn't able to attach it to the kayak. I had to shoot everything by hand because I didn't bring the right attachments to use my other attachments. And also, when I was filming, I had a bunch of my buddies around and everything, and I find that it kind of makes it hard to film. I just packed everything up, put it in the dry bags that couldn't get wet, and then sat down to see what the weather was doing, and now there's no chance of rain at all. So it's going to be a pretty nice night. Since I can't have steak, here's my dinner for the night. I've actually had this for 2 years now, but it's best if I use it by 2046. Prepare instructions. Open package at tear notch, remove and discard oxygen absorber. Carefully add 3/4 cup of boiling water. Stir carefully and close zipper. Optional. After 4 minutes, stir again. Let stand 8 to 9 minutes. Stir and enjoy right out of the pouch. Everyone I've talked to seems to enjoy the beef stroganoff with noodles. One of the reasons why I started making my own meals was, for one, the cost of these is ridiculous. I think this is $6. It's one serving. But just all the stuff it has in it, some of it's hard to pronounce. Some of it I don't even know what it is. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why. And that, and you can dehydrate your own meals and make, for the same price of this, I can probably make like 4 meals of what I had for lunch. And I used organic corn and organic green beans. I also used organic potatoes. I can't remember what barbecue sauce I used, but I think it was Sweet Baby Ray's. Anyways, I'm gonna get my fire started. I decided to go ahead and get the water boiling for dinner while I still have some sunlight. I'll let you know how this stuff tastes. This is what the stuff looks like before you add the water. It smells fantastic. We'll find out. Water is boiling. Oh shit. Hope I don't pour it on my foot. All right. I'd say that's stirred enough. All right. 10 minutes. Dinner's ready. All right, let's try it. What it looks like. See how it tastes. Needs salt. Other than that, it tastes good. Alright, well, I'm gonna eat dinner. Probably be dark by the next time I turn the camera on. I just finished eating the beef stroganoff. It was okay. I don't think I'll buy it again. Just wasn't enough food. I believe it was 260 calories. I'm still hungry, but I did bring some junk food, so I'm gonna eat some sour cream and onion chips and I guess just relax the rest of the night. Hope the wind dies down a little bit. It has been, I haven't been hot all day. It's been about 83 degrees. It's been really windy, but I'm blocked in pretty good, and there's not much of a lot of wind coming through, but it's just loud. I wasn't going to use my underquilt, but it's actually starting to get cold. The sun hasn't gone down yet, and the low tonight I thought was 70. Maybe it was 60, but it's starting to get cold, and so I went ahead and put it on. I didn't tighten the baffles, but we'll see. I may even have to put my pants on. That's how chilly it's starting to get. Any minute now, the sun will be down. But here is a buzzard hawk, I guess. Wish this thing had zoom. Guess he was done. Well, it's getting dark. And it's getting cold. I'm about to put my jacket on. Not tired at all. It's only like, let me see what time it is. It's 5:40. So I'm just sitting here feeding my my little twig stove. It's actually keeping me pretty warm. At least my legs anyways. Can't see with this light on. I'm just breaking twigs and feeding them in there. I'm getting ready for bed. Fire's pretty much died out. Gonna pour some water on it before I go to bed. I still think it's pretty early, but I'm just tired. There's a lot of raccoons out here. I've probably already seen 5 in the last 15 minutes. I just threw pine cones and they took off running. Well, good night. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning and I was woken up by some banging, and I went to investigate because it sounded like it was coming down by where I have my kayak at, and of course I always travel with protection, especially when I'm out solo camping. But there's some guys almost right by the entrance of where my yak is. Now, I have my yak pulled up pretty far, but the chair itself has some reflective on it, so if they shine a light on it, they technically could see it. I want to go back to sleep, but I don't know what they're doing. I mean, there's no... The entrance to this island is pretty much a dead end, and it's shallow. And they've been here about an hour already. They Haven't noticed the yak. I'm trying to be quiet. I would just like for them to leave so I can go back to bed. Not sure if the thing's picking up the light of them. So it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the guys just got their boat running. I didn't get any sleep. It's been really loud. I'm exhausted. I might just start packing up camp and get on the water probably around 5, but I am gonna try to go back to sleep here for a little bit, see what happens. So it's 4:11 a.m. I tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. So I went ahead and I broke down my hammock and tarp and got all that packed up, and just lit the twig stove. Gonna make a cup of coffee, and I think I still have about 2.5 hours before daylight. I may attempt to load the kayak in the dark and start paddling. I don't have kayak lights. I'm just exhausted. I probably got maybe 2 hours of sleep. So yeah, I might attempt to load the kayak in the dark, get it out of the hole that I have it in. Start paddling back, and just call it a day. I had plans on making breakfast and everything, but there's always next time. I'll be back out here again, and hopefully there won't be a bunch of loud people trying to fix a boat. Alright, well, I'm gonna enjoy my Taster's Choice instant coffee and debate on if I'm gonna leave or not. I decided I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to load the kayak in the dark and get going. The sun doesn't rise until 7, and it is only 20 till 5. Alright, here I go. This is the entrance. I know it's hard to see. And this is how far I had pulled the yak up. It was high tide, so I actually floated the majority of the way up here. But I pulled it up here into the grass. It's all down. And the guys that were in the fishing boat whose motor broke down were just right here to the left, and there's nothing. This is a dead end. I first heard something at 11:30, and I thought someone was stealing my kayak, and it was them like getting into their tackle boxes or maybe like a cooler seat or something. And they were slamming the lids. So I grabbed my firearm and I came up here quietly and saw that my kayak hadn't moved. So I just stayed quiet and made sure that they didn't hear me and couldn't see my kayak. But they didn't leave until 3 or 3:30 in the morning, and they were out here just making noise all night long. Once I realized that they weren't going to come up in here and try and take my kayak, I decided to try and go back to bed, and that was probably about 1. And I think I fell asleep until they started banging and making a lot of noise again. They were cussing because they couldn't get the engine started, but they finally did, and they cheered when they got it running. Well, I'm going to shove off. It's 5:20 in the morning and I'm leaving the camp. The river is like glass right now. Just made it back to the boat ramp. Walking up to the truck. Not sure what time it is. I still had a good time. Disappointed that I wasn't able to just sleep. But it is what it is, right? It's 6:20. Took me an hour to paddle back here. The wind was in my favor. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.